Bet one, bet 'em all. This is Sprawn calling. I'm your host, C. Rich. We're going to do a betting predictions of UFC 187. Kick things off. It originally was supposed to be John Jones versus Anthony Johnson, but John Jones has a cocaine and drug problem and just can't let other people go get his stuff for him while he sits at the house. But, hey, to kick off the main card, we're going to go with Joseph Benavidez and John Moraga. John Moraga, this guy, he can't beat the champ. And the next best person besides John Dotson, who is also fighting on this card, the next best person is Joseph Benavidez to be the title holder. Really, it's Team Alpha Male's third alpha male, just because you can't bypass, Uriah Faber and, if anything, Chad Mendez and TJ Dillashaw are the most dominating people in the sport right now for their classes. But, I don't really need to go into a breakdown. Joseph Benavidez should control this one at a minus 550. I don't want to bet that one straight up, but one that I do kind of feel that is worthy enough is a rear naked choke. Unfortunately, you can't bet on what type of submission the finish is going to be on, but I think that's what it's going to be. More than likely a late second round or late first round. I see it late in the round happening. Then we got Travis Brown and Andrei Arlovski, champion once forgotten. Worked his way up through the World Series of Fighting. I did watch all of those fights that he did have, under WSOF, and I actually did bet on him for those fights too. Hoppa Brownson at a minus 450. I don't really agree with that in a heavyweight betting line. That is very, very risky. Very risky. I mean, we're not talking about Daniel Cormier versus Patrick Cummings. Patrick Nobody Cummings, really, who only has one skill set, which was easily identified by that OSP win that I did predict. I don't want to... I like the betting line on Arlovski at 325. It is very tempting, I must say. But I think one that's going to be a little more profitable and bankroll worthy of you not having to put up a lot, more than likely Travis Brown in the distance or by TKO. I do see that pretty good in a probability factor for first round TKO Hoppa. Next we got Donald Cowboy Cerrone and late fill-in John Makdessi. Cerrone sitting at a minus 500. I don't agree with that one either. I do believe that Cerrone will win, okay? However, I don't feel that it's worthy betting straight up on Donald Cerrone at a minus 500 at 5-1 odds. More than likely, there should be a finish by Cerrone. I don't know. TKO and submission, it's like picking, Booberry, or Frankenberry. They're both really good, and they're both going to get the job done. I just don't know which one. Ultimately, Donald Cerrone, the only way to victory for Makdessi is winning this one as a knockout, which very well could happen. I'm not completely counting him out. However, I'm not going to bet Donald Cerrone on a mainline play. Next, we got Chris Weidman and Vitor Belfort. First Vitor off of TRT. So, who knows how it's going to go. Vitor, we already know, is an explosive type of fighter. He took out Luke Rockhold and Henderson, Dan Henderson last, I believe. But then we got Weidman. He's not completely proven, if you legitimately think about it. he's technically not. You know, before he got the title shot, he wasn't necessarily tested with the best of the weight class at that specific time. Yes, I do believe, you know, yes, I know he clearly beat Lyoto Machida. But Machida is, you got to bring the fight to him, you know. It took 5 rounds. But, Weidman, I mean, he's in my fantasy league. He was, I think, my first pick, too, for the year. Minus 500. I mean, yeah, he should win. But I hate that betting line. To tell you the truth, I think we're going to end up seeing a 3rd round submission by Chris Weidman. I do believe we will see a finish because Vitor Belfort fades after the 1st round, 2nd round. And right after, and right there, right away, we ain't got no TRT Vitor Belfort testosterone continuously pumping through his veins. So he is going to be crashed. He is going to be a regular person. He's going to be a regular, I think, 38-year-old fighter. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up seeing what the betting lines are on Belfort to win in round 1 and round 2. Hopefully they're like 10-to-1 odds. I don't feel, you know, a couple dollars on one of those isn't a complete waste. But I'm hoping the Weidman in the distance will be under a minus 200. That would be very good because I don't see this going to decision. I do not see it in any way, shape, or form. Vitor Belfort is going to end up gassing out, and Weidman's going to stay strong. And the second Belfort gasses out, it's done. It's done. End of story. Completely firm on that. Weidman will finish. Then we got the main event. Daniel Cormier and Anthony Johnson. This is the only fight on the whole freaking card that is under a minus 200. Really, I want to. It's under a minus 250. The second lowest betting line on this card is a 2.5-to-1 favorite. The only way to make any money on this whole card, you have to parlay. You got a 2-man parlay if you want to make even odds on anything, or even get close to even odds. So, but you know what? All right, DC. You know, I love the guy. I even got my Bet the House shirt that you guys see me wear. That was my fantasy league first place rookie. That was my prize that I chose, and that was the fight with John Jones last. You know, I really wanted DC, and I did bet on him too. I think I did put $30 or $40 straight up on DC for that one. I knew it was a long shot. I mean, John Jones is probably the greatest fighter who's going to ever live. Could have been. Now his name's getting wrecked. Anthony Johnson. Man, this guy has fought at welterweight. For some of you who can't comprehend it, that's a 170 weight pound class. This weight class is 35 pounds higher. However, Johnson, without him doing all this weight cutting crap, it really has made him who he is. I think he even fought at heavyweight one of the fights in World Series of Fighting too. Might have fought that and moved down. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But I did bet on him in all of his World Series of Fighting fights too. Those were pretty easily decided for me. Daniel Cormier. All right. So we got power versus wrestler versus wrestler versus power. The main thing that stuck out in my head is I honestly don't believe that DC has faced the same competition as AJ. Yes, I understand he did fight at heavyweight. Yeah, he did knock out Bigfoot Silva back in the day, you know, in the Strikeforce Grand Prix, or no, maybe not Strikeforce. I don't know, in the Grand Prix, you know, and then talk about Josh Barnett, I think, for the victory there, and just manhandled Barnett. Those guys are different fighters, and heavyweight skills aren't, I believe, as up to date as the 205s and the smaller weight classes. Maybe it's because they can't be athletic enough, or, you know, I don't know what it is. But if Daniel Cormier can't get the takedown, is this going to be another fight just like the Phil Davis with Anthony Johnson? Maybe, but I don't believe so. I think Johnson really was getting into the mindset of becoming a better athlete, of preserving his energy. Because before we did see him, you know, kind of blow his gas tank in a lot of fights, and there is plenty to view. He didn't blow his gas tank. I mean, there was a couple times where he could have just, like, you know, kind of attempted to go for the kill, but he didn't. So I'm worried that we might have a hesitant Anthony Johnson in this fight. And we got an opponent switch up. You know, Daniel Cormier, this guy's freaking awesome. Pretty awesome, too, sitting at a minus 140. You know, that's a pretty good betting line for either one. I'm going to be the ugly duckling, and I do see Anthony Rumble Johnson becoming the new UFC light heavyweight champion. I do. I firmly believe it. And to tell you the truth, for my own personal well-being, I will be putting a $30 bet on Anthony Rumble Johnson for the win. Hey, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like my page, subscribe to sprawlingcall.com, as well as my channel. Don't forget to check out our newest member, Eugene, over at Inside the Cage. This guy is a book of knowledge. I wish I had some of his skills, but I got other skills, and girls like guys with great skills. So, hey, until next time, don't blow your bankrolls, always have fun, and I'll see you then.